These old bikes and scooters generally are very tight to work on. And one thing I'm noticing is that these 85s are just even harder to like reach things. It's like they build things in a way that makes maintenance much harder. To get to this, you got the airbox here, you have to squeeze something out. I kind of like bikes that are very easy to maintain. There's not a lot of diagrams of the hoses of the carburetor. I have the parts manual, but they just show the carburetor, and the tubes are kind of like disjointed. They don't show where they go, and it's kind of a mess. So I've been downloading some information, and there is the Elite, I believe the Elite forums or Scooter Dog forums. They have people that have put up photos. So I was wondering where this little tube goes, and it's on the carburetor. It doesn't connect to anything other than the carburetor. I think it's that. So we're going to take a piece of brand new hose. We're going to cut it right about here like a U, and this is going to go into the carburetor. It's kind of good to renew all of this stuff. It's still too big, the front one, so this should be it. All right. So we have a tube here that goes into one of the vacuum ports of this, and then it goes right here. And then we have back here a very short tube that just kind of goes down, and it doesn't attach to anything. Tube options. You can see this first tube goes into this. There's I guess the radiator or coolant flows from here into the carb. And I guess you can tell from the length of the hoses, but the first one goes there. I'll just put it aside. And then there's another tube here with a clamp that goes all the way over here. Like you can follow it here from the front, and that attaches to that other part. So this part that I just took out from the radiator, we're just going to put it onto here. There we go. So from the radiator, I didn't even realize that this had some sort of like coolant. I'm going to have to check the coolant, but I don't even know where it is. And this line is the enricher, auto enricher, and I believe this is where it attaches. It's very weird because there's one here and one here. This little petcock, there's two hoses. This, I believe, is the vacuum. The tube is a lot smaller, and then on the top one is the fuel. I believe this is not stock. It's a little petcock thing, which is a good idea, followed by a fuel filter, and that goes into, I believe, right here, like almost in front, and hopefully you guys can see it, almost in front of the carburetor, right over there. Here's the throttle cable. I'm going to fit it through here. It attaches here. Might be a little bit hard to see, but and then I believe we have to loosen this up. Alright guys, if you remove the airbox like this, it might be easier to install. So I'm going to do that.
The real first West Coast guy that did podcasts was Corolla. And Corolla did his podcast because he got kicked off the radios because he took over for Howard Stern when Howard Stern went over to satellite radio. So when he was doing
now let's just get to the clamp.
With a green screen, doing karaoke.
So the good thing about not having the air filter here, because I am missing part of the air filter, I might just put like a pod filter, and that should fit fairly well. So I'm going to pull out the tank now.
Dogs, yeah. Not all dogs. Where a dog could probably smell the silicone back.
They make it squeak right out. He bites it. When other dogs bite it.
Okay, so this is where I forgot. There's this little strainer that goes in there. So we're going to have to pull this out. Yeah, I was wondering what that was, but apparently. So this is the old one. I guess you can test out the old one here. Oh. Little strainer goes directly onto here. And it's the upside down, so the hole has to be that way. And it just kind of sits on there. Alright, so one of the things that I found out is that the fuel sender plug does go into here. I thought these were the turn signals, but the turn signals are actually much further down. So it's kind of rusty. I'll eventually put some dielectric grease on here. This is just the way, you don't really even need that. This is just the sending unit, so you can tell how much fuel you have in there. Like this. Slice it in here. There we go. Now, I should be able to kind of squeeze this in. And now this is on here, the relay. And now we have the positive and negative. It's like this. Yeah, it's too small for it. And the cable doesn't really reach on here. Unfortunately, that's the wrong terminals. So unless I just kind of convert it, okay, I guess I can put it this way. Okay, so we'll put it like this, but the tray is too big. All right, guys, I have the battery in. Let's turn the key and see if we have light. Turned, and there is light. High beam. Yep. I'm not going to crank it just yet because I need to get some gas. I also have the petcock off. We're going to crank this thing for the first time. Okay. Alright. Push the brake. Nothing. I think it's just this. Yeah, nothing. Alright, so it didn't even crank, but the light is, the safety is here. You actually have to hold the rear brake like this, but I think I'm having an issue with the battery. So if I do this, push it down. So we do hear noises coming from here. Let's try cranking it again. So I'm not really sure, but I have kind of starting fluid. I'm going to spray it. I want to see if anything will happen. So let's see. It did want to start. Alright, so we do have the bike. It does want to start, but I'm not really sure what's going on yet.
Good luck with your worms.
Kind of stuck here. The cops won't bother me.